Welcome to Transparent with Tina. My guest today is a energy healer and light worker. Please welcome Heidi Lyne. Welcome, Heidi.
Thank you.
So good to have you here. We have so much to cover. I have used your services, which is kind of the protocol for being on the show, products, services, whatever, so I can speak to it firsthand. And it blew my mind. But before we get into my experience with you and answering questions that people would want to know about a light worker or energy healer, let's hear your backstory and how you got into this.
Okay. Well, I grew up with a lineage of narcissistic sociopaths.
That's
I didn't even know what narcissism was. Now it makes a lot of sense. So I was basically my mother was beaten when I was in the womb. I actually came out about a month early and I can know now I've tapped in now. And it's like, I was like, get me out of here.
No, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So my mother was beaten and from the time I was in the womb. And then when I was born, I just knew like my dad, he hated me pretty much from the time I was born. I was supposed to be a boy or he wanted a boy. Back then they
Mhm.
didn't have ultrasound. So we found out when I was born. And there were even points where like I'd be crying and he would just take me and beat me on my crib. And this is things that my family members have told me they've caught him beating me on my crib. There was what I found out through an ayahuasca ceremony. There was some sexual type abuse. I'd blocked it out. That whole part of my childhood was completely blocked out because I just didn't want to face it. So I had to face it and heal that. I would say one of the therapists that I work with who also does energy healing as well, she said that it's cult-like abuse.
Mm,
Remember, he was God, and
yes.
for me, it was like he beat me because I went to church. I
So your mom took you to church.
one of my neighbors took us to church, and my mom said, "Don't tell your dad," and he found out, and I got beaten for going to church.
Oh my
He didn't
God.
want
Talk about like mixed messages,
hmm hmm
right? So let me ask you, when you went to church, did you feel a connection? Was that, so after you got beaten for going to church, did you go back to church?
The only time I was allowed to go was when I went with my mom's aunt when we would visit her when she'd come visit us and watch us, and she would take us to the Methodist church, and I always liked it, you
And
know.
how old were you at this time?
Um, the time that she brought probably this was probably from like the time I was like 5 to 10, 11 years old.
Okay, so you remember the physical abuse, but you don't remember the sexual abuse, right?
No,
And
only.
I understand what I understand is, like Oprah didn't know till she was 40. Your
Mhm.
body has to be in a safe enough place to be able to handle it. And that's how you remember. But yours came out with an ayahuasca ceremony. And for those of you that don't know what ayahuasca is, it is a plant medicine that basically takes you on a journey to heal parts of you that need to be healing. And I'm going to say this right now, it's not for everybody. There are certain people, Danny Morell swears by it. In fact, he said, people, I don't want anybody working at my company that has not done ayahuasca. Myself personally, I'm not called to it.
Mhm.
That's the other thing I heard about ayahuasca. You kind of have to be called to it because it is like a death. You are
Yeah.
dying to the old so you can clear it out and then step into the new. Okay. So in between the time that you were being beaten, um, what happened? How did you get out of it? How did you get into this line of work?
Okay. So there's a whole bunch of more story that so my clients can see when on my social media because I'm dumping my story there and letting everybody know. But basically, there was a lot of emotional abuse, psychological abuse, a lot of brainwashing. So he needed control because he's a narcissist.
Right.
And so it came to a point where I kept saying, I want to get out of this home. I don't want to be here. My mom would say, well, wait till things calm down, Heidi, and then I'll leave. And then things would calm down. And she'd say, well, he's being good. So, we're not going to leave. So eventually I'd had it.
You had no protection at all.
Oh, so the last time he beat me, and I finally went to school and was talking in the office to my friend's mom because until I was at the age 12, I didn't even know that that wasn't a normal part of life. I thought everybody was beaten. And
Yeah.
saw me flinch when she got upset with her daughter and said, "What's going on?" She was an emergency room nurse. And then I told her, "Well, I thought you were going to hit her." "Why would I hit her?" "She's my daughter. I don't hit children." And then it clicked. Oh, and that's
But
when,
not everybody. Yeah.
yeah. And I kind of turned into the rebel at that time. And, well, go ahead and hit me, Dad, then I'll send you to jail. That
Oh,
stuff.
so you did start standing
Standing up.
up to him at 12?
Yeah. No, 12, like 12, 13, 14. Finally, and I kept telling my mom, "I'm leaving. I'm not going to stay here."
Uh-huh.
Know? And the problem was that I would go to school with black eyes and I would go to they'd send me to the nurse and no police officers would come to this house that I lived in. And the reason why is because my parents, my dad and my dad's mother worked for the city. My dad's mother signed their checks. So they basically told the nurse, "We're not going to that house." And
Wow.
finally, actually, one time she got the LA County Sheriff to come, versus the city police of Culver City.
Uh-huh.
And, and then my sister was like, "If you say anything, they're going to throw Mom in jail too." And I wanted to protect my mom, so I didn't do anything. Uh,
Was your sister experiencing the abuse too?
so my sisters, both of my other sisters were not beaten as much as me. And that was the thing. I felt like he hated me from the time I was
Hmm.
born. My mother,
I felt like that with my dad too. But
mhm.
I didn't, yeah. Yeah. I was emotionally abused. I mean, physically, slapped my face, but like never broke any bones or anything like that. But you know what? I think I've heard this before. They say emotional abuse is harder because, the physical abuse that goes away.
Yeah.
Like the bruise goes away or whatever, the arm heals but that physical abuse is traumatic. Okay, so what did you do? So you,
So basically, I was there at school and I was talking to my friend's mom, and the counselor heard me talking and came in and said, "Heidi, you're not going to your friend's mom's house," because she said it was a safe place if I was ever beaten. He said, "I got to call the police."
Mm,
So they had to come then because now it's a school counselor.
right.
They came and they picked me up and they put me in a foster home. Well, my dad had threatened me if I ever told anybody, he would kill me. So I had to go into a high security foster home. And I mean, I was scared to death that he was going to kill me. And so I had to go through the whole court system and all of that. And there's a lot more to the story. But what happened was at one point, um, it was in my foster home and I had hurt my leg, and my foster mother got upset with me because I wasn't cleaning. And I said, "How am I going to clean? I have a broken, a hurt leg." And doctor said, "Don't, be on your leg." And she basically said, "I will beat you worse than your father ever did."
Oh my.
And something snapped. I picked up my crutches and I beat the living crap out of that woman. I just kept doing it. And I had 5 other foster sisters that were like trying to pull me off her. And I just beat her and beat her. And then so finally they pulled me out of the home.
And
Um,
how old were you at this point?
I was 15.
15. Okay.
And so then I was sent to, I lived with my mom's sister and her family. And she took me in. So, I stayed there
Is
and
that a safe environment for you?
a very safe environment for
Okay,
me.
good.
Yeah, big Mormon family. My uncle and my aunt were so loving, and my cousins were so accepting. No one believed, though, that my father had done this because he was such a good narcissist that everybody saw the side of him that everybody liked.
Mm-hmm.
And then they figured it out through all my issues and my trauma. And then one day, my uncle, they had to send me to therapy. That was part of, me being in their home. He said, "I want to send you to this lady. She's a hypnotherapist, and she will help you." And I'll be honest with you, at that time in my life, I was completely suicidal. I was like, "I'm out. I'm done with this place. I
Yeah.
don't want to be here anymore." And one of my friends was one of the Crips in Culver City. And
Mm-hmm.
I had a hit out on my father. I was going to have him killed and I was going to kill myself. Done.
Wow.
And after the third session of this hypnotherapy, I didn't want to kill myself anymore. And I'm thinking, okay, well, if I don't want to kill myself anymore, if I kill him, I'm gonna end up in prison.
Right. And I don't want to do that. But yeah, that's like a last resort. What did the hypnotherapy entail? What was she reprogramming in your mind under the
She,
sessions?
It's hard to remember a lot of exactly what happened because you do go into a state of
A
amnesia.
trance. Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
But I had to be very forthcoming with her. I told her I wanted to commit suicide. I told her I didn't want to be in this world and all the horrible things that happened. And she said, we're going to
Okay.
remove this from you.
Okay.
Remove it
Okay.
from your subconscious, whatever patterns are creating you wanting to kill yourself and wanting to kill him, because
Yeah.
this is not okay. And I don't even know how it happened. It seemed like I felt kind of good after the first session, second session better. And by the third one, it was like this huge weight lifted off me.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I'm not going to do this. And
Wow.
so then it was like this, I don't know, this fire burned inside me. Like I wanted to go on a quest and to heal myself. So I did like every type of healing modality. I mean, you name it. I've done courses. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on every type of healing course, subconscious mind change, hypnotherapy, timeline therapy, NLP, all of that.
Tapping, breathing. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's so many. Yeah.
I mean, you name it, I've probably got a certification in it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
And I was doing it to heal myself. I mean, I even did the thing where you break the boards and you walk across the fire,
Oh, you
and
did. You did the
oh
walking
yeah,
across. I never understood how people did that and not get
it's
burned. But
I mean, with the
that
map.
shows you how powerful your mind is.
Mm-hmm.
That people can walk across fire or broken glass
Yep.
and not be affected. I have a friend of mine that did that too. And it's like with
Uh,
Tony, I think they do it with Tony Robbins. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
It was a company that I started working for as a salesperson, and that you had to go through their whole program. It was kind of like PSI or whatever it was called, Rapport Leadership International.
Okay.
But yeah, so I did all these things, and I've always been on this search. I'm kind of a course junkie.
Yeah. Me too.
And then I've always known like I need to write a book about my life, which that's coming full circle right now.
Oh,
And
great.
I've always known I want to help these abused children. I want to help women. But I didn't know what it was. And
In
then
what capacity? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then I ended up creating, still recreating the same relationships, with my marriage and with boyfriends and whatever. And it was 2019, the end of 2019. Uh, I would realize that I was living with a narcissist.
I was going to say, you manifested your father
Hmm.
with these relationships. Yeah.
Yep.
Hmm.
And it was, I don't know,
Let's
explain.
go there for a second, Heidi, because people that haven't been through this would go, well, why would you pick somebody like your father? Okay. And I've done the same thing.
Hmm.
Like if you were so abused and not feeling safe and why would you? And my understanding is that, you have this story about your father not being lovable. I have the same story in that way, not being lovable. And so you pick somebody like that person. This is all not conscious, it's subconscious. Like that person to correct the story so it has a good ending, right? I'm going to pick somebody like that. I'm going to make them love me. I'm going to prove that I'm lovable and all that, right?
And narcissists do love bombing.
Yes. Yeah, oh, God, I had that my whole
And
life.
you feel so great, but then they find out all the little things about you, like the abuse and all of this, so they can
Yes.
use it against you later. So they
Right.
feed you what you need to make you feel whole and safe and secure. And then they
Yes, and
have that.
let's talk about the love bombing there for a second. I know the show is well, it is about narcissistic behavior too. I used to love bombing. Oh
Mm,
my God, look how much finally somebody realizes how wonderful I am. And,
yeah.
you know, the more texts, the more phone calls, see, somebody finally recognizes how wonderful I am. But as you know now, and anybody that's watching, if you're getting love, that is the first red flag for me. Goodbye, no way, because that's their way of keeping you off kilter. Because if you're so busy taking in this information and being showered with love and gifts and all that, you don't you'll put any red flag over there because this stuff feels so good and they know it. They know they pick on people that emotionally they know that they can that are craving this,
Mhm.
right? Okay, so okay.
Absolutely. And you feel so good about, and you're like, it's finally what I deserve.
Yes, yes.
But you don't realize that this is way too much, way too fast,
Yep.
right? I mean, everything that they're doing, they're feeding off of your energy and they're giving you exactly what you want.
Yes.
If they have because they're holding it in escrow because they're going to change it in for what they want at some point.
They're going to, exactly. And you know what? My sister said this. She said, if people, the ones that rush in that fast, they
Mhm.
also leave that fast. And that is true. That's true.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
this guy was amazing. My friends all thought he was amazing. That's the thing. That was like with my dad. Everybody thought he was so amazing and he's not.
Yes.
And he was, and he was so sweet and nice and crying, don't leave me, don't break up with me. And when he knew it was done, he
God,
turned into a monster.
vicious. God, that's what I've heard.
Horrible, vicious. I was like, what the heck? My friend's like, this guy will never leave you.
Hmm.
He worships the ground you walk on. Oh no. Not as soon as he knew that like he was
Yeah,
out.
you were leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But if he didn't know you were leaving, you think it would have, then he would have just, yeah. They don't want you to have friends, anything like that. Okay. So,
Oh yeah. I
yeah.
remember it was probably maybe like 6 months before I finally booted him. I was looking at my phone one day and I'm thinking, all my texts and all my calls are from him. I was like
Mhm.
total,
He had isolated you that much.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had so many friends, and I was so
They
out.
always have a reason. Oh, you don't need that person. What is that person? They talk them down. And you know what? You're so in the loop now. That's like the life jacket that you've been waiting for your whole life. So
Mhm.
you're going to listen and obey. Okay. So how did you get out of it then?
So I'd had enough and I told him, get out. And like I said, and he went psycho.
Yeah.
And finally he left. I mean, I literally had to take all of his stuff and we had his kids were living with us. Take all of his stuff from anywhere in the house in our bedroom, and I just put it in to the spare bedroom when he was gone the next day. And then he came back and I said, your stuff's in the room, get out.
Hmm.
And there's so much stuff that we went through. And I look back now and I'm like, why did I put up with this? Because I was conditioned to
Because
put up with this.
you were craving this, right? At least he was being nice to you. Your father was never nice to you. So it's like, I call that breadcrumbing too.
Yeah,
You're mistaking a crumb for a cake,
yeah,
right?
absolutely. And
Yeah.
the red flags were all there, all the time, all the
All of
entire,
them were there.
yeah.
But you didn't
Started-
you didn't have any tools at
Yeah,
that point. You didn't really have any tools. I mean, and there's one thing taking a course, Heidi. Like I don't know if this happened to you, but like I understood it in my head, but to make that connection from your head to your cellular level and your heart are two different things. You could have every course, read every book, you understand it, but you
mhm,
still keep going through the same behaviors until you change the neural pathways in your
yeah,
mind. Rewrite a different story in your subconscious mind because it's not conscious really that you're doing this. You are run by your subconscious.
yeah. So that brings me to one of the things that I talk about that a lot of people don't know about, which is called developmental trauma disorder. So a lot
Tell
of
me
people
about that.
have PTSD from their childhood. It's not PTSD. PTSD is maybe like a veteran, of the war comes back. He had a great childhood, loving parents, everything was good. He goes to war and sees all this, death and destruction, and he comes back and then now he has post-traumatic stress disorder. It's something that happened, an event or many events, but you've already gone past your developmental years. Developmental trauma disorder happens from the womb to age 10.
Yes.
You are as your developmental in your developmental years. So your
Yes.
entire consciousness, your being is built on this abuse. And what
Yes.
happens is, okay, so it doesn't matter if, like, when I wanted to have my father taken out, it doesn't matter if they're dead. It doesn't matter if they're not in your life anymore and you're in a foster home. You are still living and recreating that in yourself, and you're searching out for people because it's familiar to abuse.
Yes.
You
Yes.
actually you're literally wired. You-
Yes.
Love is, abuse is actually love.
Yes, because that exactly. And there's a couple things I want to point out there. First of all, in case I want to just reiterate what you just said. So from like 0 to 5, most of your beliefs are in place. By
Yes.
11 years old, all of your beliefs are in place. So if you've been living with trauma and abuse and everything, that is
Yeah.
everything. That's all your beliefs are based around that. So you either move forward in your life, keep creating the same scene, which is the familiarity part, which is, I was just having a client call today and I was saying that, she was like, I just can't bring myself to do this. I just can't, And I said, it's because you know what? The things that you're pushing away and saying, I'll do that later, it's because your brain is always looking to conserve energy.
Yes.
Okay. So if it's something familiar, it's conserving energy. But let's say you're going to sit down and write a book, or you're going to start something new or learn something new. Of course, your brain's going to, now let's do that later because it's trying to conserve energy. So I think this is a really important point for people to understand. You're not being lazy, and a lot of times procrastination is because of trauma too.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. And
So, yeah, go
with
ahead.
developmental trauma disorder, it's like your world is always in chaos,
Yes.
and abuse is normal.
Yes.
Love has to be earned.
Yes.
And when you have it, you could be, like a lot of my clients, they're older. They're not, young children dealing with this, or just out of a foster home. They're, 30s, 40s, 50s,
Yeah.
60s, and they're still recreating this life. They look so happy on the outside and they're professional and they've got it together, but on the inside and at home when they're alone, they are broken.
Right. And filled with unworthiness, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're
Like you said,
recreating.
you feel like you have to do something to be lovable or to be worthy. And that was me. If I wasn't being productive,
Mhm.
I didn't feel worthy. But I was trained that way. I mean, like my dad would do like come in the room at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, rip open the drapes, get up. You know what I mean? So I mean, I've had that problem my whole life. I think where that's my ADD comes from. I mean, I can be watching a show while I'm on the computer, while I'm doing something else. But I always feel like I have to do or if there's let's say I'm watching something and there's a commercial break, well, I need to go check the laundry right now. So
Mhm.
for me, and I'm sure with you, relaxation wasn't even in your vocabulary because you were in fight or flight your whole life. Your
Yeah.
central nervous system was in the sympathetic. It's sympathetic, right? That's fight or flight, sympathetic, and how it affects your nervous system as well.
Yeah. I was always walking on eggshells. I
Me
can
too.
remember a time when I was young, I'd come home and mom, is dad, got a meeting tonight? He's going out, and he'd usually be out till 2 in the morning at the bar after the meeting. Or is he still coming home? And if she said he was coming home, it was like this instant,
Yeah.
and if he said, oh no, he's gonna be out, he won't be home till late. It was like,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
can be me.
Always walking on eggshells. I mean, so you were in fight or flight your whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you don't just grow up and move out and become an adult and pay for your own bills and go to college, or have a job or whatever you do, and it just goes away. It's still in your energy
Yeah.
system, still in
Yes.
your energetic body, it's still in your nervous system, it's in your physical body. And you were just recreating these patterns over and over and over again. And then since everything is the law of, attraction, you're
You keep
attracting
attracting that.
you're attracting it and you don't know why.
hmm that's a good point because when my dad died, it was in 1991. I was 28 years old, and I
Mhm.
thought, finally,
Yeah.
now guess what? The tape still plays.
Yeah.
He's not saying it. I'm saying it to myself.
Mhm.
Okay, so this is where we get into the energy work. So after you said your life shifted after the hypnotherapy appointments.
Yes.
Did you like through those appointments? I know you felt a great relief and you really wanted to get out there and you're on a quest for the truth, so to speak, and to heal yourself. So what happened then and how did you get to be an energy healer?
Okay. So it was a long road. I mean, it's
But yeah, it didn't happen overnight, people.
no,
No.
no. I mean, we're talking 30 to 40 years of
Yeah.
all different
Yeah.
classes of healing modalities,
Yeah.
and trying this one and did it really work, or maybe little bits and pieces of each thing would work. It's
Yes.
not like
Yes.
one single thing just worked.
Yeah.
There's so
No,
many
it's
different
it's
facets of
behavior
what's going on.
stacking. It's like one thing. That's why your morning routine is so important. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
So I just, through the time of growing up and being an adult, I was always searching for this and finding new ways, doing new programs. And I will tell you, it was, the part that really changed my life is I was still really in these patterns, even though I'd done a lot of work when I was probably in my early 30s. And I was going to go to marriage counseling. My marriage was falling apart. Of course, I attracted someone who was not for me. And I went to this lady that my friend told me to go to, and she's a theta healer, and she also does some other modalities. And I said, I'm going to go to one session before I take us for our group our marriage counseling.
Mm-hmm.
One session, I walked in, she like literally glowed like an
Or
angel.
aura. Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that, I mean, after that session, I felt this huge weight lifted off me. It was just, I mean, amazing. And I said to her, you know what? I'm actually going to work on me. I'm not bringing him here. I'm going to
Yeah.
spend my money and I'm going to work on me right now. And what that did, that healed my relationship with boundaries because I didn't have any,
Mm-hmm.
apparently.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I remember setting boundaries with my dad, and he would get so upset. Sorry, on the phone.
Yes.
Don't treat me that way. Goodbye, and I'd hang up. He'd call back.
That's when you know that you've crossed over. I'm telling you, when there's no emotion involved, it's indifference,
Yeah.
and that's my benchmark every time I come up with a challenge
Uh-huh.
in my life now. I just go, wow, I applaud myself. You wouldn't
Yeah.
have done that 3 years ago. You wouldn't have done that 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And so I think this is important to bring up to people because everybody wants to go from A to Z. It doesn't happen that way, but you need to applaud yourself for the small steps. And
Yeah.
those steps are, instead of being reactive, responsive, and being detached. So you were healing your heart and started putting all that energy in yourself. And let me just say, I would say, I've said this so many times before. Everything that we're kind of taught, it's like backwards, okay? If I do more, if I am more, if I lose weight, if I'm this, they'll love me more. Okay? No, it's about loving yourself, okay? So you're whole and that you're not missing anything inside of you that you're trying to get out of somebody else. That was probably the biggest thing for relational for me.
Yeah.
Because once I got there, it's like nothing rocks my boat. And I was considered an anxious in attachment styles. I'm a secure now, you
Yeah.
know?
Same.
Everything used to make me anxious if I liked somebody. Oh my God, if they like me. Now it's like I'm so secure. It's like I also know if it's meant to be, it'll happen. And if it's not happening, it's not for my highest good.
Yeah. Take it or leave it, right?
Take it or leave it. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So you got into the healing part of it when? At what point?
After I did probably like maybe 6 months to a year of healing with her, and so much was going on. I was attracting the right clients for my business. I was healing stuff with my husband and knowing that I needed to get a divorce. There were
Hmm.
so many things that was going on, and she actually said, "Why don't you take one of the theta healing classes?" Which is basically subconscious mind change. It's also a little bit of energy work too.
Okay.
So I started taking classes with her, and she told me, and this was oh gosh, 2007, I think. She
Hmm.
said, you are meant to work with women. You are going to work with women. You're going to help heal women.
Hmm.
I know it. And that was my first time I got my theta healing certification. I did that, many changes in my life, divorce, all of that. I still continue to do more trainings and such. And I was working in real estate and I was kind of just doing that and didn't know how this would fit in, but I knew it would fit in. It was always calling me. And then after I broke up with the narcissist in the end of 2019, I went to a theta healer to help me work through what happened with that. And that's where I learned about what narcissists are and took a lot of classes and understanding on that. And I redid my theta healing certification and I started doing other healing certifications. And then what happened was I did my very first ayahuasca ceremony in, I believe it was 2021. One of my
Hmm.
friends I'd known for 25 years, whole life changed. And she's like, girl, the medicine's calling you. You got to go.
Mm.
And I went. And what I was given in that ceremony was quit the job that I was doing at the time, was
Mm.
the construction company and was being abused. Just another relationship I brought in to replace.
Yep. Yep.
And other things they brought in about what I'm going to be doing and healing work, and I didn't listen to it.
You
I
did.
went around my same thing. I was living in Newport Beach, having fun, doing this and that, staying in the matrix, right?
Right.
And so spirit's like, okay, this is gonna hurt. Uh, and I basically had a huge dark night of the soul, huge
Okay.
dark
So
night.
I had that 2 years ago. So let's explain, why don't you explain what the dark night of the soul is?
It's like your entire life falls apart.
Exactly. I have never been so anxious or depressed. I mean, I've said this on episodes before. I was looking at my doctor crying, going, put me in a mental hospital.
Yeah, I actually had, I woke up one morning and I couldn't see, I couldn't talk, I couldn't hear. I was shaking, my whole body was shaking. And I kind of crawled out. My roommates saw me and they're like, what's going on? And they got a hold of my friend and she came and stayed with me for a couple days. And she was like, first of all, you need to quit that job. Because I was working a job at the time, that the abusive job. And that's kind of what the little catalyst, the straw that broke the camel's back, right?
Hmm.
And it took me a while to kind of get better. And, it took me about a year. Basically, what happened is I had what the doctors call a nervous breakdown.
Yep.
But to me, it was complete death of my entire ego, my entire self of who I was.
Yes, that's what I felt too. But
I
they say a breakdown is actually a breakthrough.
yes. I mean,
I mean, no, I wouldn't wish it upon anybody, but I'll tell you one thing. I would not be where I am if I had not gone through that.
yeah. No,
Everything
I'm
is
so
stripped
grateful.
away from you. People, everything. It's like,
And your
yeah,
brain, like my mind, like I couldn't even function. I almost burnt
yeah.
my place down a couple times trying to cook food because I couldn't, put food in the oven and go wash my face at the same time. I mean, it like totally just remember in the day when you would want to erase a tape, you would take a magnet.
Yeah.
Basically happened to me in my entire reality.
Yeah. It's all of a sudden like, who are you? For me, it was my son becoming an empty nester. And then it was also this guy that I had been seeing. He moved away. My son, I became in 1 week. And I think it was really more my son because it was like, who am I if I'm not a mother? My whole identity in where I praised myself and everything else was being a mother. And now who am I? I was so fragmented and just it's like a bomb blew up, and
Yeah.
you have to kind of gather yourself back
Hmm.
together and put yourself back together because but it was the best thing in the world because you know what? Being detached from yourself is the worst feeling in the world. It's like I remember feeling like I wanted to jump off myself anyway all the time, right?
Yeah.
And now it's like I can look at myself, I hug myself, I love you, Tina. Nothing is coming before me. And a
Yeah.
lot of people that's selfish. And you know what? I call bullshit on that. I'll tell you why. Because when you're good to yourself, you can be there much more for everybody else. If you can't be there for yourself,
Hmm.
what are you really giving to your child or your spouse or your community or anything else?
Yeah. When people call you selfish, that's narcissism right there.
Yeah.
You're not
We've
doing
been
for
taught that though, Heidi.
yourself.
What's
Mhm.
that?
You're saying you're not putting me first over you.
Exactly.
I have to put my oxygen mask on first before I can help you with yours.
Right.
It's selfish.
And we become such people. I was talking about this on another episode. We become such people pleasers. That's also not honoring yourself. Oh, well, what happens if they're mad at me or they don't like me? I mean, when you're traumatized, that really triggers you.
Yeah.
And now it's like, we all know what we need to do.
Yeah.
Okay. People that are in denial still know what they need to do. They could sit there, I don't have an alcohol problem, I don't have this problem, or I don't have, but they deep down, they know.
They know.
Like
Everybody.
they don't know. Yeah, they do. And everybody does. And you know when it's time for a change. So this is a beautiful story. So if any of you start to, what I would say coming now through it on the other side, I think my journey would have been a lot shorter had I leaned into it. This is what I tell my clients, lean into it. Don't resist it. Because the more you resist it, the longer it's going to take. Wouldn't you rather get through this quicker?
Yeah. There's a fear
Just
behind that.
surrender.
They're scared. It's scared of the unknown. What's going to happen?
Mhm.
These are unfamiliar feelings and they're used to being abused.
There you go, the familiar again. Okay. It's like, what is that saying? Sleep with the devil that you know rather than one that you don't know, right? Exactly. It's like, well, at least I know this person, even though you want something more in your life. There's always a risk, but when you're coming from your heart and you're coming from your truth, the universe does not, God, universe, whatever you want to call it, does not let you down. Just like when you started getting into this work, clients started showing up,
Yes.
right? That's another way you're getting on track with your truth, right? So I want to share my experience because it was really mind blowing with
Okay.
you. Now, you are not the first healer by any stretch of the imagination that I have been to. And I was actually working with somebody while I was going through the dark night of the soul, and she would clear my energy. And, we'd rate like, how bad is it? And at the end of the session, where is it now? She would get downloads, from channeling, like, what was I feel, over and over and over. It was trauma, terror, trauma, terror, trauma, terror. And I would feel better after that, but then I felt like it would come back again. The difference with you, I've never had anybody read my energy in one session
Mhm.
and then clear it in another, and I never had shadow work done. So maybe it was more of a combination. My healer, she was probably reading my energy. She did talk to me before. So I can't say that. She did talk to me before. But so all this stuff came out that you were being guided to. You basically channel in to the universe. You channel into my guardian angels, people that have passed over, anybody that's wanting to come forward and say anything. So we did that. And then when it came time for the energy healing, you said, I think we need to do some shadow work. And I'm like, I've heard about that before, but man, that was something, wasn't it? Okay. So
Right.
I
Yeah.
think, okay. So what I know is that my heart has been closed.
Hmm.
And I shared with you, I said, it's not easy to get in there because, I had one healer, and for an hour, she said, Tina, I kept trying to kept getting in there after, 6 times, and you kept kicking me out. So I'm thinking to myself, well, no wonder nothing was cleared
Yeah.
after all these sessions. Okay. So we did something called shadow work, where you are actually talking to my heart. You're talking, who's in charge here? Because the gates are shut, and I should have known this because when I was 21, I remember I shared this with you too. I went to a psychologist, and she goes, Tina, you're like a tank. Like, you know what a tank is? It's metal. Like, nothing gets in, but nothing gets out. You see what I'm saying? I could never experience real connection and real love, which can help me feel safe. But, you know, uh, but then, it goes both ways. I can't really experience it, but that's it. I can't really get hurt, but then I can't really experience love. So we did that for a good 20 minutes. Do you remember that?
Oh,
Where you were talking, and you finally, and you really, everybody that's listening to this, you really have to be all in on this,
yeah.
because your mind, and I remember my mind, as much work as I've done, my mind's going, this is stupid.
Yeah.
You're talking because we had to name that person, and you're just asking me questions and I'm answering. But if you don't drop into your heart, and if you stay in your head, it's not going to work, because you are going to feel like this is dumb. I mean, well, who's talking like this? Anyway, it took like probably 20 minutes for you to convince my gatekeeper, which was called, I forgot the name of it. Strong. I think that's
Strong.
what we named him. Strong. Okay. Strong got renamed to guidance, or
Guardian.
guardian. I keep trying to think about that the other day. I still think that. And then you went in and did the healing. Okay. So, uh, now I had just had COVID, and I still took the call with you because I'm like, this has got to help. And this
Yeah.
is probably my seventh or eighth day in COVID, and it was bad. I mean, it was like I woke up to ibuprofen. My head felt like somebody's hit me over the head. No energy, chills, everything, cough that wouldn't be productive. Well, I swear on my life, the next morning, I had so much energy. I was up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I didn't stop until 6 in the afternoon. There was no signs of COVID. I was telling my friends, I feel higher than a frigging kite right now. And I'm
Hmm.
going, my mind is sitting there going, oh, yeah, sure. And I'm sitting there going, I telling my mind, shut up. Because there's nothing else that
Hmm.
could have created this. It healed my body. It healed my mental capacity. It healed my energy. So
Yeah.
let's go there just for a minute. All this trauma,
Hmm.
you can talk it out in therapy, okay? But the trauma, we all have an electromagnetic field. We're all made up of energy. You have a trauma, okay? Unless you somehow release it from your body through tools, what
Hmm.
happens? It goes back in your body, it's stuck. And then all of a sudden, it just piles up until your whole body is just clogged with this. people don't ever put that together with disease, dis-ease, okay, and not moving forward in their life. Why can't I get further ahead? I've been at this job for 10 years. I'm still making the same amount of, what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it is just so important to do this energy healing. And I had a question for you, that how does trauma rewire? Well, I think we kind of talked about how it rewires your nervous system. Is it makes you go into fight or flight,
Mhm.
right? So then out, the clearing obviously helped. What are ways you can rewire your nervous system that you could do at home, like on a daily basis? Because I know some things that I do, but I'd like to hear some of the things that somebody could do to start. I think it's important to do in the morning to get your day off correctly.
So again, we have to remember that everything is energy, and every
Yes.
time there's a trauma, an energetic, this trauma is created as an energy in your body. And then I'm going to kind of give you backstory and then answer your question. But um, every time it's recreated, it's more and more and more until you've got a skyscraper, right? So, traditional therapy and some other therapies will, peel it off like an onion,
Yeah.
right? You've
Doesn't
still
go
got,
that deep though.
yeah, right. Yeah. I knock it out at the foundation.
Yes.
And then everything comes crumbling down. That's why, some people get the great feeling that you did after healing, and other people feel like they had
Shit.
COVID.
I've had that too. No, I mean, so yeah, don't base it on me. So if you have a healing, it could take 3 or 4 days to process. You might feel like crap the first 3 days, but then it starts to come back and
Yeah.
integrate in a good way.
Right. And it integrates into your physical body, into the physical reality. So so everything, like everything's energy, and each trauma is created through. So number one is, you have to be careful and have discernment with the people you're around, the situations you're in.
Yes.
It needs to be like a constant, force field around you. The other
Yes.
thing that I teach,
Boundaries.
yes, boundaries with yourself and with others. The other
Yes.
thing is I teach people about doing, healing and clearing. I teach them how to do things called cutting cords, where they cut
Mhm.
energetic cords. You create an energetic cord even when you're just thinking about somebody.
Yes.
Right? And that cord, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not, but that's still energy into your body. We're talking
Yes.
about energy. Everything is electromagnetic energy. And
Hmm.
so I teach, doing daily healing, clearings on yourself, cutting cords, putting up protections of yourself after you've done clearing. These are
Hmm.
things I teach people who are doing this with me, or I also have classes that I teach just for these specific things. I
Hmm.
have a meditation, which I sent you, which is a daily
Yes. And I
clearing.
just shared that with a client today.
Good, good. So basically, you have to think of it when you get up in the morning. You've just been in the astral and doing whatever in your sleep, right? You get up in the morning. It's just like brushing your teeth, taking a shower, washing your face
Hmm.
to
Yep.
clean clear
Yep.
your body every day.
Yes.
I do it 2 to 3 times a day because of the amount of energy I bring in from clients and other things, and I'm so in touch, empathic. But
That's what I was just going to bring up. I think I was reading your mind because, especially for empaths and HSPs are highly sensitive person, which I am. That energy just clings onto you. It's almost like you attract it. So yes, so you do, and if you do work closely with other people, and you know what, I only do it once a day, but I think you're right because I'm on with clients all day long,
yep. I mean,
taking in their energy.
we get so stuck in the here and now, and what we've been told and what we've been raised, we don't realize that, every time you interact with somebody, you are taking on their energy.
Yes.
And then you need to clean yourself of that. I have to do a whole process after every reading and healing and stuff. But, every single time, but still, morning, noon, and night, I'm doing a clearing and cutting cords and all of these things to clear my energy. So it's me.
Yes.
With
Because
me.
otherwise, you have these feelings and you think they're your feelings, and they're not. They're actually somebody that I just learned recently. I'm like, somebody had said that, okay, you got to realize I'm an empath, that I attract this stuff. And like, if I feel anxious or I feel depressed and stuff, not necessarily my feelings.
Yeah. And to know what's your and to have the discernment to know what's yours and what's not yours. When something's
Right.
coming in, like take time with yourself. I think most people love to just react. They don't
And
take,
distract themselves from what they're feeling too. I
yes.
don't feel good. Let me go distract myself. Let me numb myself. We
Yeah.
all do it. I'm not going to say I don't do it.
Mhm.
But the first step is awareness. Can't
Yes.
change anything that you're not aware of.
Yeah.
So that's where you would begin. That's where somebody would begin is just becoming aware, tuning in,
Mhm.
saying, this is my frequency, this is my world, and really start honoring yourself, practicing a lot of self-care and compassion and patience. 'Cause
Absolutely.
it doesn't happen overnight. And honoring your small wins. I think it's a great practice at the end of the day is write down everything that you did well that day and
Yeah.
also things that you could work on.
Yeah.
You know?
Things you're grateful for,
Yeah,
you know.
because otherwise, what do? We just clobber ourselves. We
Hmm.
don't honor, we do 10 things and nine of them are great. One of them's wrong. Our mind goes to the one
Yeah.
thing we did wrong. So,
The worst
um,
critic. We always beat up ourselves. And that's again, I think that's conditional with society, but also when you've been abused, you have developmental trauma disorder, that's just a norm. You have to, the people need to like have grace, love yourself.
yes, exactly. I mean, I have a friend that never beats up on herself. And
Yeah.
that's because she kind of had that perfect childhood. I mean, always was supported, always was loved, never
Right.
pushed that hard, so she's really late. He's not the opposite of me. I'm like, get out of bed, girl. But okay, so how do people get in touch? Okay, so you've got the 1 hour energy reading and the 1 hour energy clearing,
Mhm.
and the promo code for that is Tina25. Actually, the promo code Tina25 offers on any of your products and services,
Yeah.
correct?
Tina
Okay.
25. If you go to the link that you'll have for my booking site, uh,
Yes.
healist.com, they anything that I do, you're going to get 25% off. And I have some, 3 month and 6 month long problem programs, things like that. So 25% off for Tina 25. And then I have a clearing and healing. So it's 1 hour of clearing, 1 hour reading, sorry, and 1 hour healing.
When healing, yeah.
And that's a package promo. It's basically like a 2 for 1. And
Yes.
and I'll have that link for you as well. So it'll be below the video.
Do you think that would be the place for people to start? I would think that would be the place for people to start to kind of clear their energy. And then if they wanted to do a course for 3, because you kind of got to be clear to be getting into something even heavier, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I would say that. Can you give our audience any like 3 takeaways that they could start on? Like if they listen to this tomorrow, they can just start any 3 takeaways like that they can start in the morning doing to help raising their energy, start honoring themselves, some self-care tools, anything like that.
I would say number one, the free energy healing and clearing meditation that I offer.
Okay.
You can do that. I'll get you the link for that so we can put it below.
Yep.
That's great.
Yes.
All my clients use it, but it's also offered to anybody. It's and it just really it clears you, it cuts cords, and then it brings in energy to set you up for your day. I know most people say it feels like a bath, it's really good. And if you keep doing it every day, I've had people say that they just feel better and better every day. It's like
Yes.
it's that, energetic cleansing that they're getting every morning. It's 10 minutes. So you could do it,
And yes. Think about it as a computer. You've got too much in the computer, there's no space for anything new.
yeah,
So
we're
if
not.
your energy fields and your chakras, because my root chakra was blocked, I think it was
Mhm.
my sacral chakra that was blocked, and my heart definitely was blocked. Oh no, my crown was muddy.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yes. So just think about it. You're creating space to bring in things that are new because if you're clogged up with bad energy, you can't help but attract more of that. You
Yeah,
you can only attract what you are,
absolutely.
unless it comes to a narcissist, because if you're an empath. So I've thought about that. I'm like, well, I'm not a narcissist. Why would I attract that? I was just prey. I was
Mhm.
prey because I wasn't standing in my power. So I was like free game,
Oh yeah.
right?
They
And that's the other thing.
instinctively know.
What's that?
They instinctively know who they can,
And I
attack.
was at Target for a long time.
And even if not, even if they're just like, oh, hey, she's cute, I think I'll take her on.
Yeah.
All of your trauma and all of your patterning is just gonna hang right on to them if you haven't healed.
Oh, yeah, I know it. I
You
know
know,
it.
now it's like I even get one little tiny red flag and it's like,
Yeah,
bye.
me too. And I don't even feel an emotion attached to it. I'm like, nope, sorry. It's
Yeah.
not even like struggle because that's a lot of the suffering is the negotiating with yourself.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's no negotiating with me. I go, you know what? Is this for my highest best and for
Hmm.
my, and you know what? Let me say one more thing. Oftentimes, when you've gone through the dark night of the soul, or let's say like this, the deeper you get, you're going to be faced with challenges, which are just lessons from the universe going, okay, did you pass that test? Because if
Oh
not,
yeah.
I'm going to bring it right back to you, but it's going to be a different situation, a different person. Have you
Mhm.
you've noticed that, right? The
Oh
same
gosh, yeah.
lesson. It's just like school. If you
Hmm.
don't pass the exam, you're not getting into the next grade. It's the
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah. I always say I think I signed up for the AP course in life. The
What's
you know,
the AP course?
they want to give me everything hard. It's like a
Oh,
1,000% versus 100%.
yep.
Like oh my gosh, my guides they're pretty rough with me. It's like, oh, we
Me
have
too. But you know what? They
a
also, my mom
really
always
hard
says,
one.
yeah, but they also know that my mom always just said, God doesn't give you more than you can handle, even though it appears so. I mean, it's almost like he picks his best students, and
Yeah,
especially if you want to go into something like this. And, I've said this before, I really feel like your mess is can be your message. And that's what it is for you. That's why I help people is because of the drama I went through. I want to. So if you're going through something challenging like this, just hang in there, you guys, because you know what? The challenge, you will get to the other side. And then you know what? That's oftentimes how you find your purpose,
yeah.
which is different than a career or just making money or being successful.
And then everything is in alignment. And
Everything is in alignment. Yep.
that's actually my clients. My clients are the ones they may be, most of them are successful women. But they just know that there's something higher for them. They know
Hmm.
that they're meant to do something else, and it's this knock at the door, and life is falling apart. And I'm able to go in and read them, find out their blocks, find out their highest purpose, and then we're able to clear it and bring them in and bring them to a vibrational level where they actually all those things start happening for
And
them.
it starts falling away.
Mhm.
All
All
those things when you start stepping into it, there was a woman that I just interviewed, and we were talking about this because she was talking about alcohol. If you're using a lot of alcohol, she has this course instead of abstinence, it's about just kind of her guarantee is that you'll by the end of the course drink 80% less. And I do believe that the more that you heal, this stuff just naturally falls away. We cling on because we're so scared and we're so filled with trauma and we don't even care if you're ruining your body or whatever it is. But
yeah.
once you start to heal, you do care and you start to look at it from a different light. So,
Actually get to a vibrational level where alcohol does not serve you. You don't like it. It makes you dizzy. You don't feel good.
mhm.
I've gotten to that level.
I'm
And
not at that level yet.
yeah, I mean,
But I
having
will say there
yeah,
was a point that I was like, I have to have a drink at the end. It was like, it was just
absolutely.
to calm and soothe myself. I wasn't like I was waking up with a hangover. In fact, I had my first hangover the other day. That was lack of sleep, not enough food, and
Oh,
and too much alcohol. Even though it was a fun night. But anyways, so yeah, again, progress, not perfection.
absolutely. And then we need to stop beating ourselves up. We need to do massive forgiveness to ourselves,
Yes.
and then you can forgive others. That's
Exactly.
the
Exactly.
practice I
And I
talk.
think that's a great note to end it on. If once
Mhm.
we forgive ourselves, all that's going to fall away too. All your resentments are going to fall away because the
Yeah,
resentments stem from not honoring ourselves, right?
100%. Yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
God, I could talk to you for another hour, Heidi, and I might have you on again, but this was such a great conversation. I think we pretty much covered everything. So anyway, all the links are going to be below once this video comes out, so you'll know where to find her. You also have a YouTube channel. People can check you out there. It's Heidi Lyne at L-Y, wait, Lynn, R, L,
What?
Lyne. Sorry, it's right there on the screen. Lyne. So you could type that into YouTube. You can kind of get a little bit more familiar with Heidi. But like I said, I'm going to leave the links below, and just Tina25 is the promo code for everything that she offers. So I really hope you guys take advantage because it's shifted me tremendously. And I'm just so grateful for you and so grateful for having you on, Heidi.
Thank you. And yeah, anybody, please reach out. Even if you have questions, you can reach out to me. Tina will have the link below.
Yeah,
Please.
because you do a discovery call with them and you just kind of explain what it's all about anyway. So
Yes.
reach out and get into the best version of yourself. That's what I say.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you all for being here. If you have not subscribed to my podcast or my YouTube channel, please do so you can see what's coming next. And we will see you all next week. Thanks again, Heidi, and we'll be in touch soon.